All right, this is a bit of a different setup. Today, I wanted to talk about minimalism in filmmaking. Now, one thing that I've taught coming from a very frugal background in the sense of kind of not buying expensive gear when I was first starting out, and the importance of understanding why minimalism is sometimes more important than filling the space. Let me explain. One thing I've learned is limitation breeds creation. And my rule of thumb when it comes to filmmaking and cinematography has always been the same. Storytelling trumps everything else, even cinematics. It's not to say that cinematics aren't important, but if you have a good story to tell, people are going to be more inclined to watch it than just focus on the cinematic aspect of your film. Again, the filmmaking aspect and the cinematography is super important, but if you have a strong story that really connects with your audience, you're gonna make a much better film than just focusing purely on the cinematics and aesthetics of the filmmaking. Now, being in this setup today, I have a very minimal setup. It's actually my FX3. I'm using the Zeiss 55 f1.8, which is, by the way, is an amazing, incredible lens. And this is my space. I'm in the director's chair right now. I'm using the light that's sort of around in the studio. There is a bit of echo in here, as you can probably hear a little bit, but sometimes you just got to use what you have. Now, when I look at a setup like this, it reminds me of kind of like the run and gun style that I'm kind of accustomed to. If I'm doing a documentary, I would prefer that kind of raw, authentic, natural lighting scenario than trying to set up all these lights and creating this artificial light to make it look natural. If I can set up the talent near a window, for example, I can use that, which is a nice key light, and then put like a little aperture on the side, which can work. Or other times, if I have the space and time, I'll use one of my lights with a light dome, or I'll use the lantern, which is also really nice for that kind of soft lighting. But like this as well, this can always work. It just really depends on your setup. The only thing I don't like in a studio setting like this is more the echo coming from my sound. That's really the main thing that I don't like. Everything else visually, you can make look really nice. Now, having a white wall can be used for a lot of different things. You can do product photography, product videography, you can do portraits here, model shoots, lifestyle shoots. You really do have endless possibilities. You can even make this into a set if you really wanted. Now, this particular studio that I use doesn't have curtains, but you could always black it out and create your own set if you wanted to, which is really cool about a studio space like this. Now, what am I coming to? What I'm trying to allude is that limitation breeds creation. The possibilities are endless. Now, if you guys are kind of stressed about the idea of not having lights, not having enough gear, let me stop you right there and tell you that's not necessary. Ask yourself this: do you have a camera? Do you have a microphone? Do you have talent, which can be yourself? Then you've got everything you need to get creative and be a creative and be a filmmaker or photographer, whatever it is that you like. You don't need the most expensive gear. You don't need the most expensive lights. To be honest, you don't even need lights if that's the situation you're in at the moment. If you don't have money, or you've just got enough to survive and you're gonna pick that over lights, I would pick that, of course. Look after yourself first, and then when you have money, buy some lights. But I wouldn't say the lights are do it all and be all. You can definitely use natural light. You can choose to shoot at certain times of the day to make use of the light. You just gotta be mindful of when there's clouds and when the sun is going down, so you know when the light's gonna change. So at least you're aware of your settings and how that's gonna look in frame. If you have a controlled environment like this, you can rig it out and light it out however you want, and it will stay consistent the whole time. Or if you're in your own place and you've got some money and you do choose to buy lights, what I generally do is I black out the windows. I'll have one main key source, and then it's pretty great. It looks natural and it looks like it's coming from the outside. I don't mind artificial lighting as well sometimes. There's a feel and place for it as well, but I generally like the more kind of authentic, raw, natural feeling. And that's one of the reasons why I love documentaries so much. I just love the fact that it's kind of raw and gritty and sort of run and gun, because I feel like that's sort of more my style. And the FX3 in this sense works really well as a run and gun camera. Now, with that being said, guys, my best advice that I can give you, especially to new creatives or creatives that might be in a bit of a rut right now, creative rut, is just get out there and shoot content. There are so many days where I don't feel like filming. And this is what I live and breathe. And there's just moments like that where I'm like, oh, I don't really want to get out of the house. I'm not getting a lot of views. I'm putting in all this effort. It's not really getting anywhere. And then I remind myself why I do it. This brings me enjoyment. This is my way of expressing myself to the world and to myself. I look back at the videos and sometimes I learn something new and how to improve. And every video that you put out is gonna get better and better and better, and you'll find your style and you'll find your audience that relate to you. Don't worry about people that might not like your content. It's not gonna appease for everyone, but the ones that do will stick around, and that's the most important thing. Now, if there's one thing you're gonna take away from this, just remember, the limitation only stops with you. It's not the camera, it's not the tools that you have, it's you. So keep that in mind next time you go out on a shoot. Don't worry if you don't have the most expensive light. Don't worry if you don't have the most expensive camera, microphone, whatever gear it may be. Just remember you have a camera, which could even be your phone. Get yourself a microphone if you don't have one, and get a tripod, and you're pretty much set, guys. Look at Casey Neistat. He's a fantastic example of don't worry about the cinematics, focus on story, because Casey knows how to sell a story, and that's why everyone loves him so much. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe and be well.